Hello, friends. So, we are back again, and today's session is about how to write an essay. So, we all have written essays in our childhood and even during our college days. So, I think we all have a basic understanding of how to write an essay. But for UPSC, there are certain tricks which, if you do not follow, then however good the quality of your essay is, you find it difficult to fetch marks. So, today we are going to tell you about those little tricks that are to be followed. So, we all know that an essay consists of three parts: an introduction, a body, and a conclusion. Now, an introduction of an essay, whatever topic it is like the preface of a book. We all know that the preface of a book consists of what is there inside the book, but in a summary, so that if we read it, we get an idea, brief idea about what we are going to read inside the book. Now, what are the ways in which we can start our introduction? See, there are 2-3 ways you can adopt any one of them. The first one is you may start with a quote, like, for example, a little knowledge is a dangerous thing. So, this is a quote. You can start with it, and if the line that you are quoting is said by some famous personality, you can write his or her name too. And when you are writing the name, then put the quotation within double quotes. Second way is you may start with an interrogation, that is asking a question. For example, all that is going on with the women in the world right now, does it show that we are striving towards equality? Question mark. So, these are the things, these are the ways in which you can start writing your essay. The third process is you can start by writing a story. Okay, like suppose there was a village and a farmer named so and so used to live there. He had 3-4 childrens, but he was not getting proper yield from the crops in his field, so he was starving. His children were thrown out of the school because they were not able to pay the fees, and then he went on to have a drinking habit which affected the family. So in this way you can start your story, and then you can move on to the given topic in the essay if it is a social topic. Okay, because in this way you see you are covering a lot of aspects in the introduction, like the poverty, showing the poverty of a farmer and how poverty uh, is causing the children to be thrown out of the school. So there is a dearth of education, and due to lack of education, how people take wrong paths in their life, and in this way a family is being broken. So these are the aspects which you can show in your introduction part. So we are thorough with the introduction part now. Now I am leaving the body part for the time being. We'll come back to it because it's a long process. You have to understand a lot of things. Now the last one is the conclusion part. In the conclusion part, there are 3 things that we have to keep in mind. The first one is that we have to be visionary in our conclusion part. Whatever topic it is, we have to be visionary. But again, visionary does not mean that whatever way forward we are bringing up, it is going to be implemented in a long run, like after 100 years aliens might come in our planet and all these things. It should not be unrealistic like this. So it should be visionary but practical, like it can be implemented in the coming 10 to 15 years. It should be like that. Second thing is that you have to be optimistic, because UPSC wants administrators who have a positive sense of thinking even in negative situations. So you have to be optimistic in whatever conclusion you write. Third one is the conclusion should have practical suggestions too, and at the back of our mind we must keep that the conclusion should not violate the ideals of the constitution, the preamble, or the human rights, world peace, and all this. Our conclusion should not be such that it is going to disrespect women, or it is against the world peace, human right, or it is something illegal, something out of the way, against the constitution. It should not be like that. So we have to keep in mind all these things. Rather, it should be in favor of women, children, differently abled people. It should promote a sense of universal brotherhood, and these type of positive aspects should be there in the conclusion. Now, how to write the conclusion? It should contain the critical analysis of whatever we are writing in the body part, okay, of the essay. Now, what is critical analysis, that I will tell you later, but for the time being, just note that you have to write the critical analysis, provide suggestions to improve, give a future aspect, and also give practical suggestions. The last one is that since we are providing suggestions to improve, so we have to supplement it with certain facts, data, or quotes, which again and again you will get from the magazines, the Yojana and the Kurukshetra. Okay, so that will give weightage to your answer. Now we move on to the middle part, that is the main part of the essay, the body part. Now for that, you have to understand the topic very well, and there are a few points which you should have in mind before you start writing. I am just mentioning the points. The first one is you should keep closely to the subject that is being asked in the essay. Second thing is that you have to arrange the ideas in an orderly fashion. Third is that you have to write briefly, that is concisely. You cannot write anything and everything over there. In that way, you will just be hovering around a single concept. You will not be able to write the multidimensional aspects of the essay, and you will be beating about a single bush, and in this way you will lose the number of words that you are being limited to, and your essay will be finished, and your marks will be very less, because you are not taking a multidimensional approach. So you should write whatever concepts you are writing, each concept should be written very precisely. Fourth thing is that again these concepts should be supplemented with data. Fifth one is that it should be multi-dimensional, but again with integrated thinking. Okay, suppose you are writing about the economic side or the technological side, then it should not be more than 4 to 5 lines. That's all for a single idea regarding that topic. I will give you examples so you will understand better at that time. Okay, so after you finish writing the introduction, when you are writing the next part, then you can take an approach which I usually take, that is you can just draw a small table at the corner somewhere in the rough space that is being provided, and you can write the different dimensions that can be included in the topic. For example, political, social, cultural, scientific and technological, geographical, international relations, history, religious, gender, economy, environment. Okay, so these are the horizontal components that you can write down and start correlating the topic with the given dimensions, and try to find that how can you link that topic with gender equality, gender neutrality. Okay, again, how can you link the topic with economy? Now, linking the topic with economy doesn't only mean that you will go on thinking that how. So in that way it will not work. So again, inside economy you have to think about different aspects of economy, like export, import, profit, loss. Okay, I hope you understand. So these are the ways in which you can link the topic. Now again, you have to provide data. Okay, now once you link the topic to a particular dimension, for example, if you link the topic with gender, then you have to again mention its pros and cons. If we do it, if gender neutrality is maintained, then what are the pros, and again what are the cons? In a similar way, if the topic is linked with, for example, the economy, then you have to show that whether it will be fruitful for the import or for the export, whether it is providing a profit or a loss. So in this way you have to write each one's pros and cons. Now this should be the entire middle part. Okay, and the last one is that you have to link again with the your polity syllabus, that is the ideals of freedom struggle, fundamental rights, fundamental duties, preamble, human rights, the environment too, the sustainable development goals, okay, and the vulnerable sections of the society, the differently abled persons, the women, the children. So your topic should be multidimensional in this way. Okay, and now how to write. These are the ways in which you will link the topic. It will be running in your mind, but how to present it, write it in your copy. So like I want to say how to arrange. Now to bring the flow in your essay, it should have a flow. Okay, it must not be like once you are talking about economy, then you are moving to science and tech, and it should not be like that. There should be a flow. When I give you an example, you will understand it better, but just I am telling you the points. There should be a flow. So introduce the concept of your next paragraph in the previous paragraph. Okay, so suppose I am writing about economy, how the particular topic is linked to economy, and then I am writing its pros, writing its cons, and in the next paragraph, suppose in my mind I am thinking to link it with science and tech. So in the previous paragraph, that is in the economy paragraph, at the end you should write something, so at least one sentence, so that it gives an idea that you are going to link it with science and tech in the next paragraph. Okay, you got my point? Now you have to show that how a need of linking that from economy to science and tech is important. You have to mention it, so that it raises a curiosity in the mind of the person who is reading it. Now there is a problem, sometimes we are not able to bring the flow while sitting in the exam hall. In that time we have to think of subheadings. Okay, or like if for example, if you are writing an essay on tourism, then you can draw the map of India at the right hand side of it somewhere, to show that what are the places where which can attract tourists, or like they have some uh, beauty of nature associated with them. So in this way you can bring the flow, if at all the flow is not coming in the way I have told you again. So in order to bring the flow, you can take three ways. First is that whatever topic is given, you move from individual to a family, to a community, to a society, to a region, from there to a state, take it to the global, and then move on to the regional groupings. Okay, so this is a way in which you can bring the flow, and while writing just go on connecting with the economic, social, political. Okay, the second way in which you can bring the flow is that what was the topic in the past, what is it in the present, and how we can work upon it in future. So this is a shortcut, you can try it. And the last one is, if nothing at all is coming in your mind, then just think of your GS syllabus, GS mains syllabus, paper 1, 2, 3, 4, and ask questions like what, why, when, where, how. Just ask these questions, so it will help you to jot down some points for writing your middle part. Another thing that I would like to tell you is that you can take the data from the magazines that I have told you, and also from the India yearbook, okay, which comes every year. This year I think it's already published, so you can just buy it. The data given over there is authenticate because it's the government data, and if you write it down there will be no problem. So let us now take one or two examples to understand how to write the essay. The first one is, suppose I give you a bicycle. Okay, we all know what is a bicycle is. So we have most of us have used it once or twice in our life. Now as soon as I give you a picture of a bicycle, what are the points that comes in your mind? You must first write down the positive points and the negative points. For example, bicycle, it helps us to travel from one place to another, and we can use it to access remote places where we cannot go with the help of a car. Second is, it is less accident prone. These are the positive points which I am telling you. Third, it promotes girls education. You know, in many villages where the schools are far apart, government has provided girls with the bicycles so that they can go to school. Second is, it is attached with emotions. How? Because when you write, nowadays we have mails and all this SMS and mobiles, but earlier people used to write letters. People staying far away from their family, they used to write letters to their family, and the postman used to deliver it with coming in a bicycle. So administrative plus emotional attachment. Then it is cost effective because it doesn't run on the fuel, it runs without fuel. We all know that, so it is cost effective. And what are the negative points? In a similar way, you have to think about the negative points. I am giving you an example like it provides no protection in case of rain. So these are the ways in which in the beginning in your mind it should come what are the positive points, what are the negative points. Now you link it quickly, as I told you, administrative, the postman part, education, girls part, the recreation, okay, tourism part. So in this way you just link it, make it multidimensional. Now let us take another example. This is the last example. Suppose I give you a flower, okay, I give you the picture of a flower, and you are told to write an essay about it. So first just connect the dots, that is the multi dimensions. Now connect it with history. We all know, for example, like Jawaharlal Nehru, he used to keep the flower in his pocket every time. So it has a historical importance too, and he was known as the Chacha Nehru. Then we can connect it with social. like it is used for decorations, for jewelry and beautiful products, and in all sorts of things, in happy and sad moments, both case we use flowers. They have different colors, so they have different meanings. For example, the yellow color belongs to friendship, and we all know this sort of ideas we all have, so we can connect it. Third one, we can connect it with science and technology. So most of the flowers are used for medicines and therapy. They provide biodiversity. They provide food for animals, and even in tribal areas, they use flowers directly for medicinal purposes. Recently, it was in news. Like scientists have discovered that some kind of a tribe in, I think towards, if I'm not mistaken, Andaman and Nicobar Islands, there somewhere, they are using it for some medicinal purposes, and it is so fruitful. We were not able to discover it earlier, but now we have discovered. So scientists are going to use them. Then we can connect it with religion. Whatever religion be it, they use flowers for the Almighty, the God, the whatever they follow. And it has geographical impact too. It promotes tourism, okay. And then it provides an income for farmers, so it is linked with poverty. That how it by selling flowers, some people earn bread for their family. So in this way you can make it multidimensional, and again you can supplement it with data, supplement it with quotes. And now we come to the critical analysis part. So what is critical analysis? Analysis is, we are writing the pros and cons of a particular topic. But critical analysis is that after we write a pro, okay, a positive point, we again analyze it for writing the pros and the cons. You got it? Like suppose we are talking about the bicycle, okay. Now we are saying that bicycle helps us to travel from one place to another, especially in the remote areas where we cannot access with car. Now this is a pro we are saying, but again we have to analyze it critically. Like I am saying, since the bicycle is providing access to remote areas, so it can be used to do certain crimes in the remote areas, and no one will even notice. Like suppose a person is coming with a car, so a car is much more bigger than a bicycle, so people will notice, okay, someone has come. But a bicycle, I mean, who notices? It's not that big. So this is a con of that pro. So this is what is called a critical analysis, okay. And because the bicycles are very easily available, it takes a lot of money to buy a car. So again, so that is also a negative point. So I hope you got the point that what is a critical analysis. So in this way you can write the essay. I don't think it's a very big deal. We all have written essays once in a lifetime, and I would suggest that you practice the past UPSC papers for essay writing, and that should suffice just to bring in the flow of writing just before exams. If you practice it, that will be fine. And just avoid certain things in your essays. Avoid writing point wise. We have a habit of writing point wise, like putting a dot or putting 1 2 3 4 and then we go on writing. So do not provide numbers, do not write it point wise. Avoid it, try to avoid it. Even if you write, that is not a harm, but it just try to avoid it. Then avoid writing the names of the politicians. For example, the Mr. Modi said, do not write like this. So these things are not accepted in essay, and use simple data. Do not write too complicated data that the examiner has to take a lot of time to understand, because that will make him angry and you will not fetch marks. And I would suggest you to read some reports. You can just read them. These are good. You can understand how to write an essay from there also. Like you can read several essays written by Dr. Kalam. Mr. Amartya Sen, and the World Development Report. You can read the summary, you can read the World Hunger Report, World Happiness Report, and certain there are many good books, written on the life of the legends. You can read that, so that will give you a quality of how to write an essay, and bring the flow in your essay. Just go through the government websites, read your The Hindu newspaper daily, which we are already providing in our videos. So that's all for today. Keep watching our videos, and please leave your comments, like whatever you feel that how we should improve, or even if you like, just leave a comment, so that we are working on these videos, and we are working on many more such videos, and they will be uploaded soon. And if you like, you just subscribe, and tell your friends also about it. Okay, that's all. Hope to meet you soon. Thank you.